Board. So here this lesson is about the angle side congruent triangle theorem. Okay. So what does this entail, right? If there are two corresponding and congruent angles, and also it has a congruent side. I just rewrote side because it's kind of messy here. In both triangles, then we conclude that both triangles are congruent. So what you need is just two corresponding and congruent angles and a congruent side. Okay. Those are the three parts you need. Okay. So here we're going to look at that over here in this question. So how we're going to show your work? This is how I expect you to show your work. Just so you're thinking, I know that you're thinking through the process, right? You're stating that angle, the first angle here, angle G and angle M are both congruent, right? Here you name this as angle HGJ because it has a ray of GH and a ray of DJ. This is the first one here. And the other angle is angle N, but with the rays of NL and the ray of NM. Okay. So how do you know they're congruent? Because of the arc marks. The second fact or statement we're going to be stating is that angle J and angle L are being congruent to each other. Once again, I do not really enjoy writing down angle J alone. I want you to be specific just for more practice. Here, angle J, here it has the ray of JH, the ray of JG. Here, angle L has the ray of LM, and angle L has the ray of LN. Okay. So these two angles are congruent. Why? Because of arc marks again, right? Our last statement is congruent sides, right? These two sides are congruent and they're also corresponding, right? Here you also see these two angles, they are in the same location in both parts of the triangles. Here they're both congruent and they're also corresponding on both sides of the triangle, the same location. And here, these congruent sides are both corresponding and they're also congruent. Why are they congruent? Because of the tick marks. These markings indicate that they are congruent. It means that they have the same value. So here we're going to say that HG is congruent to MN. Okay. So now those three statements, we have how many angles that are congruent? We have two angles, right, through the arc marks. We have angle G and N are congruent. We have angle J and L are both congruent. So two angles are congruent. And if we have two corresponding angles, congruent angles, and we need also a congruent side, which we have here in HG and MN. If we have two corresponding and congruent angles and a congruent side in both triangles, then we conclude that triangles triangle HGJ and is congruent to triangle LMN. Why are they congruent? Through the angle side congruent triangle theorem. Okay. Once again, for you to use an angle side congruent triangle theorem, it's really simple. You just need two pairs of corresponding congruent triangle angles in both triangles and also one corresponding congruent side on both triangles, right? If you have all those three statements, then you can conclude that triangle HJG is congruent to LMN, triangle LMN. Okay. Due to this angle side congruent triangle theorem. Okay. This is sort of similar to the side, right? The side congruent triangle theorem, you just need at least about three sides on both triangles to be congruent. This is similar. You just need two angles, congruent angles and a congruent side, and you can state that the two triangles are congruent. So the next one here I'm going to be covering is the angle side angle, or ASA. I don't like really putting abbreviations because a lot of students kind of disregard the meaning of each abbreviation. They say ASA, they don't really understand why. So it says angle side angle. This is similar to the side angle side, but here you have two congruent angle and a congruent side in between those congruent angles. Here, you just read the meaning here. If you have two corresponding and congruent angles with a congruent side in between the two angles found in both triangles, then the two triangles are congruent. How do you visualize that? Once again, I drew an example here. Here, you can say that angle A here is the first angle is congruent to angle X. I want you to specify it as angle BAC because angle A has the ray of AB and the ray of AC. Here, angle X also has the ray of XY and ray of XZ. Okay. How do I know that angle A and angle X are congruent? Because of the arc marks. Second angle that's congruent is similar. Angle B and angle Y is congruent to each other. Why are they congruent to each other? Because once again, the two arc marks. Don't forget to name your angles correctly. And the last one is the segment of AB is congruent to the segment of XY. Here it's given. Why? How do I know it's congruent? Because of the tick marks. Here. So here, the conclusion I can make is that triangle ABC, and triangle XYZ are both congruent due to the angle, side angle, congruent triangle theorem. Why is it the angle, side angle, congruent triangle theorem? Once again, you need two congruent angles, which is angle A and angle X, and angle B and angle Y. You have two pairs of congruent angles, and you need a congruent side in between the two angles, right? So here, if you write down the letters here, A as an angle, S as a segment or side, and A2 as an angle, second angle that's congruent. You follow a pattern on the first triangle, it says angle, side, angle, right? Which is a theorem that we're going to be using. And if you look at the second triangle here, it's also going to follow the pattern of angle, side, angle. So if you follow the pattern, then you can conclude that the two triangles are congruent. Okay? So let's just compare the two, right? The first one we just did was just like very basic, right? There's no conditions. All you need, there's no tricky conditions. Here, the angle side, you need at least two pairs of congruent angles and a pair of congruent sides on both triangles. Here, it's kind of different, right? Why? You need two pairs of congruent angles and a congruent side in between the two angles. That's the only difference, right? Let's kind of practice this and see what we can do with the examples that I'll be providing you and see if you are able to answer them correctly.